It's time for the monthly Microsoft Roadmap Roundup. This month, over 100 items were launched across various categories, and I scoured through them and found 4 that I think will improve our workflows. The first one is countdown timers in Microsoft Teams meetings. In the past, if you wanted to add a timer to a Microsoft Teams meeting, you needed to create something like a PowerPoint slide with a countdown or use a third-party app, which just adds friction to your workflow. Now what you can do is go to the More Actions menu on the top right-hand side of the screen and select Timer. On the left-hand side of the screen, there will be a box with a standard 5 minutes. You can add more time or set your own custom number. When you're ready, click the play button and the timer will start counting down, and this will show on everyone's screen. They can see how much time is remaining and this purple bar that shows the progress of the timer as a visual indicator. You can pause the timer if you need to, you can end it anytime you want, and of course you can let it run for the full amount of time. Once the countdown has expired, you will hear an audible notification. The countdown timer will remain at the top of the screen, so you can reuse it as many times as you need to. If you're done using the timer, you can go back to the More Actions menu and deselect Timer to dismiss it. The next thing is the FAQ web part in SharePoint. You will need a Microsoft 365 Copilot license to see this feature. Now, when you edit your website, go to See All Web Parts, you will see FAQ in the AI section. When you add the web part to your page, you will need to provide a document such as a PDF, PowerPoint, or Word file. In the Purpose dropdown, you will select one of the categories to help the AI generate more accurate content. In this example, I have some general purpose information. Now, you can also provide other details for the AI in the prompt box. But for this example, we're just going to run it without any additional prompts. So the first thing that Copilot did is it came up with some different categories based on what's included in my document. I can also ask it to draft questions as well. And then I can ask it to draft the answers. At any point in this process, you could have edited the categories, the questions, and the answers before moving on to the next step. This can take some time depending on how much information you provided. Now that the AI is done generating all this content for me, I can select Keep It, or I can delete it and start over. As you can see, I can manually add additional categories, additional questions, or edit the existing content. As with anything, the quality of the information will determine the quality of the output. You still need to be the human in the loop to review the entries for accuracy and relevance. In my testing so far, it has produced results that are pretty good and took some of my awkward writing and made it better. But even with good quality information, there were still a few tweaks that needed to be made. For the sake of demonstration, we're going to assume that I've already made those changes and republished the site. And now I have several FAQs based on research that I already did and then repurposed it for my SharePoint site. Next up is quick steps in Microsoft Lists. This is similar to a quick step in Outlook, so it may seem familiar to you. From your list, click the Automate drop-down at the top of the screen. Then select Quick Step and create a quick step. Now, this has been rolling out for a while, so some of you may have already seen this, but Microsoft finally marked it as launched, so those of you who were later in the release cycle should finally be able to see it. What this allows you to do is create a button for actions that you regularly take on your list items, such as drafting an email or setting a value. In this example, you are a manager who reviews travel requests and you frequently have follow-up questions. So we're going to click Draft an Email. Click in the field for Enter a name or email address to choose which column will be used to populate the email address, in this case, requester. Then we need to give the quick step a name. You have the option to include additional recipients on the CC line and set up a standard subject line. And then by default, a link to the item will be included in the body of the message. And if you don't want that, you can simply deselect it. The only piece of this that is mandatory is giving the step a name. Now I'm going to click Create. And we're going to go back to the list to test this out by selecting an item. Now, there's two places to find your button. You can click the Edit button at the top of the screen, and you'll see quick steps in the dialog box. Or you can go back to the Automate menu, and you'll see an additional option with the name of the button you just created. Outlook is going to automatically open, and all you have to do is craft your message and send it. The fourth feature that we're going to talk about is adding a name pronunciation to your profile card in Outlook. Have you ever felt unsure about how to pronounce somebody's name? You're not alone. I've worked with many people who struggle to pronounce my name because the THE sound is not natural in their native language. A better example is my friend Andrea that I met in Germany. A lot of native English speakers call her Andrea. It's spelled the same, but sounds very different. These moments of uncertainty are common in multicultural environments. It's important to know that you will only see this feature if your IT administrator has turned it on. It is not on by default. Once the setting is activated, here's how to record your name pronunciation. Go to your Outlook profile, click the microphone icon next to your name, allow microphone access if prompted, select the microphone button in the dialog box that opens, and record up to 10 seconds. Now, anyone in your organization can simply click the speaker icon next to your name to hear your recording. This small step goes a long way in building a more inclusive and respectful workplace. So there you go. Those are 4 features that Microsoft marked as launched on their roadmap in the month of July. If you'd like to keep the conversation going about Microsoft apps and features, you can join me in my school group. There's a link in the description below.